Okay, time to get into it. The biggest question mark here is why? Why start a podcast? Here's the inconvenient truth. See, the world, well, it doesn't really need just any podcast, but it very well might need yours. Not because you have to be the next Joe Rogan or Brene Brown, though, hey, maybe you will be, who knows? But rather because no one else can share your story the way that you can. Your voice, your lived experience, your questions, humor, perspective, and passion, those are uniquely yours, and they could be exactly what someone out there needs to hear right now. Podcasting is more than a trend, it's a movement. It's the 21st century campfire where we gather to tell stories, swap ideas, learn, laugh, cry, and feel less alone. And unlike social media, where algorithms bury your best thoughts under a pile of memes and dance trends, a podcast that creates an on demand, intimate space for real connection and meaningful conversation. This isn't just content, this is an invitation for your listeners to go deeper, to think bigger, and maybe even change their lives. Still wondering if a podcast is right for you? Well, let's break it down. Here are the top 7 reasons to start a podcast. Number 1, you have something to say. Not everyone feels called to speak, but if you're watching this, you probably are being called to speak. Now, whether it's your take on personal growth or UFO encounters or entrepreneurship, parenting, true crime, or the spiritual secrets of sourdough, you have a perspective that no one else has. Your podcast doesn't have to solve world hunger. It just has to be real. That's what keeps people listening. Number 2, you want to build authority without being cringe. See, there's no better way to build credibility than by talking about what you know, interviewing experts, and sharing your unique insight consistently. A podcast, that's your audio calling card. You're no longer just someone with opinions, you're a host. You're a curator of conversations, a thought leader in the making. Want to write a book? Get speaking gigs? Launch a course? Grow a brand? Podcasting helps you do all of that without begging for attention. Third reason to create a podcast. Maybe you want to create a community. A podcast isn't just a one-way broadcast. It's a magnet for like-minded people who resonate with your vibe. Listeners don't just passively consume. They DM you, they email you, they ask to be guests, they leave reviews that say things like, I feel like I know you. I mean, this is powerful. That's legacy stuff. Right? Your show becomes a lighthouse, guiding your people home. The fourth reason you might want to create a podcast, maybe you want a creative outlet that could potentially turn into a business. See, podcasting scratches every creative itch. Storytelling? Check. Interviewing? Check. Editing and sound design? Check. Branding and visuals? Check. Community building? Check and double check. And it can make money through sponsorships, affiliate marketing, premium content, courses, products, Patreon, list goes on and on and on. However, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. So if that's what you expect, you might want to rethink this. It can absolutely be a get fulfilled slowly and then maybe make bank journey, but you have to have your interests in the right place. The fifth reason why you might want to create a podcast, maybe you want to own your own platform. See, in podcasting, you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need permission to even start the podcast. You don't need an agent. You don't need a casting call. There's no gatekeeper involved. You're not relying on TikTok's algorithms or YouTube's ever-changing ad rules. A podcast is your own little media empire, a platform that you control where your audience comes to you on purpose every week. Plus, no pants required, just a mic and a message. Bonus. The sixth reason why you might want to create a podcast. Maybe you're curious and you love to learn. Some of the best podcast hosts are just curious people who love asking questions. Even if you're not an expert, hosting a podcast is the ultimate excuse to talk to fascinating people who might be experts and learn how to do cool stuff on the record. Imagine DMing your favorite author or spiritual leader and saying, "Hey, want to come on my show?" Suddenly, you're not a fan, you are a peer. And the seventh reason why you might want to start a podcast, well, because it's easier than you think. Let's bust a myth right now. You do not need a fancy studio, a booming radio voice, or a 5-figure budget to start a great podcast. What you do need is a message, a mic, or even just your phone, a little bit of guidance, like this course, and the willingness to suck a little at first. Everyone does. Everyone's biggest question mark, everyone's biggest scary moment, the fear, the thing that prevents them from actually launching their podcast is the fear of sucking. I'm here to tell you, put that fear aside because there is a very good chance that when you first start your show, it's going to suck. You are going to suck, but that's okay. That's the whole point here. This is something new, something that you are going to grow into. And before you realize it, you are going to be so adept at this that you're going to be amazed that you were ever afraid to launch in the first place. I promise you'll get better. You'll find your rhythm. You'll build momentum. And in a few months, you look back and go, wow, I actually made that. All right, real talk. Is podcasting for everyone? Nope. Podcasting is powerful, but it is definitely not for everyone, and that is okay. Some people, well, they dive in for the wrong reasons. Let's dive into a few of those right now. Some people get into it because they want to get famous fast. Podcasting is not a shortcut to celebrity. It's not TikTok, where one clip can make you viral overnight. So if that's what you're expecting, I'm sad to say that's not something that will likely happen. It could, you never know. Some people strike it really lucky right off the bat. But the vast majority of us have to put in a lot of work in order to get our names out there. Another reason why someone might be diving in for the wrong reasons, to make money instantly. Sure, there's definitely money to be made in podcasting, but not until you've put in the time, the consistency, and the value. In fact, little known fact, the accepted rule of thumb in the industry at the moment when it comes to monetization is 3 years. That means that you may be doing your show for 3 years or more before your show will show even the slightest level of monetization ability. I'm sorry if that's disappointing, but you need to know that. If you're getting into podcasting, money is not the reason to do it. You can make some money later on. This is a long game, but right away, it's not going to be a moneymaker. That I can almost guarantee. Another reason why someone might dive into the podcasting world for the wrong reason, well, because everyone else is doing it. Chasing trends is going to do nothing but burn you out faster than a bad mic setup. So if that's the reason for you doing it, maybe you need to look somewhere else. If your reasoning for getting into podcasting is one of those three, then I hate to tell you, but podcasting is going to chew you up and spit you out faster than TikTok reinvents a new dance trend. I mean, it's not a sprint. Remember, it's a marathon. This is a long game. And if you're in it for the right reasons, it can be incredibly rewarding. Now, if you're in here because you feel called to share your perspective, explore ideas that matter, create something meaningful, connect with people who need what you have to say, well then, welcome, my friend. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Because here's the truth. Podcasting can be one of the most rewarding creative journeys you will ever take. It can open doors, it can forge relationships, and even transform lives, starting with your own. And I know this from personal experience. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to care enough to start and keep going when it gets hard. And it will. Trust me. If that's you, perfect. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. All right. What can you expect from this course? We're not just going to talk about why podcasting is awesome, and it is. We're going to help you define your message and your audience. We're going to help you design your format, your name, and your brand. We're going to help you choose your gear without making you go broke. We're going to walk you through recording, your editing, and your publishing. We're going to walk you through guiding you in launching strong and growing smarter. We're going to talk honestly about monetization, about burnout and evolution, and maybe show you how to turn a podcast into a movement, all without jargon, fluff, or making you feel like you need to be an audio engineer with a marketing degree and a trust fund. You're going to build a podcast that reflects you, attracts the right people to you, and makes a difference in the world. And I'll be with you the whole way. Okay, your turn. Why do you want to start a podcast? Before we dive into the next phase, let's pause for a second. Take out a pen or open your notes app on your phone or your computer and answer these questions. Number one, what would your podcast help others do, feel, or understand? Again, what would your podcast help others do, feel, or understand? Number two, what transformation do you want your listeners to experience? Again, what transformation would you like to see your listeners experience? Number three, what's holding you back right now? Be honest. What's holding you back from starting this journey? And number four, what would change for you if you started your podcast next month? How would that change your world? There's no right answer. This is just you tuning into your inner mic. Let's get you on the air. In order to do that, let's make sure that you have the right plan in mind, the right process. And on the next episode, we're going to show you a quiz that you can take to tell you whether you are ready to start your podcast or not.